Good morning, students. The same chapter is going on, that is called international business. In the previous session, in the Zoom online class, I have explained about these topics, and because of the request of some of the students, again I am preparing the video for the following steps, which comes under the international business. So, before starting the chapter, before starting the contents of international business, or we can say documents needed in the international business, I'm going to explain about the meaning of international business again. It is a type of business which takes place between two different nations or two different countries. It is an important type of business in which the businessman has to use the international currency to make payment to the other countries. That is why this type of business is very important business, and it helps in creating the foreign exchange, which is very helpful for the economic development. That is why the companies are using that is why the more and more countries want to export more and more product to get more foreign exchange, as well as some countries are also importing some companies are also importing some raw material from other companies to produce the finished product for the customer. That is why international trade is very helpful. Now in today's session, I will let you know about the documents needed in the international trade. So whenever one businessman is going to sell or purchase product with the other country, then they have to follow the certain documents, and today I'll explain about the 8 documents only, and later on I will explain the remaining. So the first document is quotation and pro forma invoice. So before purchasing the product, every seller has to send the quotation, in which he has to mention about the prices, quantity, types of the product. He has to send it to the importer. If importer is satisfied, then only he will reply for the quotation. If he is not satisfied with the quotation, then ultimately he will represent his problem before the exporter. Then only the sale and purchase can take place. So the quotation and pro forma invoice is a type of document in which exporter has to mention all the information related to the product to the importer. They have to mention the prices, they have to mention the model, they have to mention the size, they have to mention the guarantee, warranty, they have to mention the credit terms. All the things they have to mention in the quotation and the pro forma invoice. Okay, then the another one is indent and order. If importer satisfied with the quotation given by the exporter, then only the importer can send the order or indent to the exporter, in which also the importer has to mention the quantity, that in which quantity he want to purchase the product. He has to mention the size, he has to mention the quality, he has to mention the model, he has to mention all the things whatever needed to recognize the product. So that is why we can say indent is sent by the importer to the exporter. Okay, now another one is credit worthiness. Before sending the product from exporter to importer, exporter has to check out the credit worthiness of that particular importer to whom he is going to sell his product. In credit worthiness, he has to check that whether the importer has the amount to make the payment to the exporter, whether the importer have the credit worthiness to make the payments before the time or on the time. If importer is not making the payments, then ultimately the exporter refuse to sell his product to that particular importer. That is why the credit worthiness should be checked by him. Then another one is custom law export license. So if the credit worthiness of the importer is good, then the exporter has to check the custom laws and he has to obtain the export license. in which he has to check out the laws of that particular country in which he is going to sell out his product. If one Indian exporter is going to sell his product to American importer, then he has to identify the export law of America country, then only he can sell out his product to there. If he don't know about the rules and regulations, then ultimately he has to face a lot of problems. The another one is import export license, IEC. Is an important document in which the importer and exporter has to obtain a license from the district authority of Export Import Council. If the council is permitted to provide him export license or import license, then only the international business can be begun. As I told you people, without getting the registration, without getting the license, it is not possible to start export and import. So the district authority or zonal authority has to check out the many formalities before providing the license to that particular importer or exporter. The export licensing agencies has to identify the credit worthiness. They have to identify the production availability, resources, and they have to identify the financial capacity of the exporter before taking the order from importer, before providing the IEC certificate to him. That is why it is an important document. The another document is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, ECGC. It is an important document because it ensured that if importer fails to make the payment on time, then this credit guarantee corporation will provide the financial assistance to the exporter for producing more goods for the other companies. Because if importer fails to provide money on time, then the exporter will face a lot of financial crisis for producing the product. That is why this ECGC certificate will provide the assurance to the exporter that the money will be provided to him, whether the importer will provide them or not. Then the another one is pre-shipment finance. After getting all the certificates, IEC and ECGC, the businessman, the exporter has to meet with their banks to get pre-shipment finance, in which they get the financial support from the financial institutions and commercial banks for getting raw material, for purchasing machinery, for producing product, and to transfer the product from one place to another. Pre-shipment finance is related to the production and collection of all the resources for the production. So this type of pre-shipment finance can be provided by the exporter's bank after getting the order, after getting the IEC certificate, and after getting the ECGC certificate from the exporter. If exporter provide this type of certificate, then only the pre-shipment finance or the financial assistance can be given by the commercial bank and financial institutions. Then another one is government restrictions. Some of the government restrictions are put by the government over the certain goods, like tobacco product, like alcoholic product. These cannot be exported or imported from any country to any other country. So that the businessman has to follow these these documentation before starting the international business with two countries. So students, it is all about the 8 documents which are needed in the international trade. If you have any query related to it, you may ask your queries on my personal number, and you should try to solve the what we call questions. If you have any problem, you may ask. Okay, it's enough for today. Have a nice day.